Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks since I got the kit. Been doing 5 minutes here and there throughout the couple weeks. Haven't had a lot of time, been working a lot and doing a lot of honey-do lists for Thanksgiving coming up. So things I have been able to do is the first step, which is looks like 6-2, which is working on the forward spar for the vertical stabilizer. Got the plate doubler on, and as you can see, it's all riveted. The thing about this is it took me a second to realize how to do the bottom six, trying to interpret the plans and what it means. But basically, you had to dimple from the aft end of the forward rib, and rivet flush mount from the aft end of the face there. But other than that, got a couple of the edges deburred, still have more deburring to do, but it's at least a start. I had started working on the aft stabilizer, which is 6-3, and made a mistake. I had to reorder a couple parts, both the aft spar, the rear spar, and one of the rudder brackets. In the instructions, it says to final drill a number 12, and I had thought that meant to drill these holes to size number 12. In actuality, it meant these ones. So drilled it too big here and had drilled into the spar, the rear spar. So I had to order new parts. So they're finally here today. So I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit work done today and see if I can at least get the aft rib or aft spar, the rear spar completed. So that's where I'm at.
All right, so now going forward, got the new parts, like I said, and be able to, I'm getting my music set up. Like I said earlier, I've got a sound bar that's behind the skins that are hanging in the background there that's connected to my phone via Bluetooth, so I can listen to the music as I'm working out in the workshop here. But so here I am. This is the doubler for the aft or the rear spar, and again, taking off the bluing. I don't find it necessary. So I go on and I mark each part with its part number, so I don't lose track of it. So now this is the process of clecoing this doubler on the rear spar for the vertical stabilizer. And again, as I had said before, I'm having to learn the color coding for the clecos, and I'm actually using the wrong size. These are the 3/32 clecos, which are typically for the smaller holes for the skins and things like that. So I quickly realized my mistake and start using the correct ones here. So it just takes some time going through, putting all the clecos in to hold this piece in place. The whole idea here is that you cleco every other hole or so, and you'll go through and you'll drill the open holes, and then you'll move the clecos and then drill the holes that the clecos were occupying. And that's the whole process for all these parts. So it's going to be a lot of time spent clecoing, moving clecos, drilling, and then generally the process is going to be cleco the parts together, match drill all the holes that need to be drilled, move the clecos, drill the rest of the holes, and then from there you take it back apart, you deburr everything, which means you get rid of all the sharp edges from the holes and the edges of the flanges and everything. Then go through, prime everything, and then dimple if you need to, and then start putting everything back together for final assembly. So it seems like it should be fairly quick, but if you're going to do it right, it takes quite a bit of time. It's a lot of meticulous work. So here I am just working on the brackets for the rudder hinges, and working to assemble those in their proper places. And again, I had a bit of issue trying to get the clecos to hold them in place, but eventually I was able to get them in there. And I've listened to other YouTube blogs on RV builds, and one of the biggest issues that people come across is just with all the Clecos using that Cleco device, the tool to install and remove them, you get a workout. Your arms start feeling that burn, and I've only just begun and I've already started feeling some of that burn. So we'll see how it goes. They do make a pneumatic tool to install and remove those Clecos, and I may get to the point where I decide to order one. When I get to the section on the wings, the skins on the wings alone, there's hundreds of Clecos that you install and move and uninstall. I may get it for that. We'll see. So now I'm just verifying that the brackets are all drilled to the correct size. And then now I'm going to finally do some match drilling for the rear spar here. And I've started to get used to the air tool. The drill is it took a little more pressure than I had anticipated initially. Thinking it's aluminum, it didn't seem that it should take too much to drill through those, but it actually took a little more than I anticipated. So I thought at first maybe the drill bits that I bought were the wrong ones, but no, it just takes a while to get through the metal without damaging it. So now I'm going to be going through and putting in the rest of the rudder hinge brackets, and the middle one's going in here now. They're all fairly simple, obviously. It's just a couple holes to drill through to make sure that the Clecos will fit. I think that the paint that they had put on the hinges kind of closed up the holes a little bit, so I had to re-drill them a little bit to make sure they're the proper size. And that's what I'm doing here. So the top hinge at the far end there and the middle hinge I'm working on now, those are pretty standard. There's no issues putting those in. But these ones here are the bottom rudder hinge brackets. And the thing about these, there's only 3 pre-drilled holes in these bottom rudder hinge brackets. There's supposed to be 5. And what they have you do is match drill the 3 that are there, and then on the top bracket for the bottom hinge, you actually drill the 2 corner holes from the template out of the from the holes that are in the rear spar itself from the back side. So you create 2 new holes. And then it took me a bit of research and trying to figure it out. But on the bottom bracket, and you'll see me point it out here in a minute, the bottom bracket, there's actually, again, only 3 holes, and there's 2, the instructions talk about 2 holes in the corner. You don't drill those out right now because they're going to be for later on to attach to the fuselage. And you see me pointing them there now, my 2 fingers there. Each corner, there's supposed to be a hole there, but they're going to be larger. They're going to be through bolts, basically, to bolt the whole vertical stabilizer to the tail cone of the airplane. So it took me a little while to figure that out. I had to look it up on YouTube at some other folks on their finished products. And so I decided to move on and I'd look it up later. So now I'm going through, and this is the match drilling process. So I'm going in between each Cleco and drilling the hole that's there to match it, make sure it's good to go. And then what I'll do is I will shift all the Clecos over one and repeat the process. And right there, my drill had started to die on me, and I couldn't figure it out and realized I'd forgotten to turn my compressor on, so my air pressure got low. And that's generally the process for all of this. Is you get everything ready, get all the parts ready, you Cleco them together, and then you match drill. And then you move all the Clecos over and you match drill again. And then once it's all drilled out and everything is set to go, you take it apart, you deburr everything, getting rid of all the sharp edges. and then you prime it, and then do any dimpling that you may need to do, and then you put it back together for final assembly. And it seems like it should be fairly quick, but it's a time-consuming process, and I've only just begun. So I can only imagine when I get to the wings section where there's literally hundreds of clecos. My arm was starting to get tired here. I can only imagine when I get to that point. They do make a pneumatic cleco device, and I may end up getting that, but we'll see. Like I said, when I get the wings and start working on that, I may end up getting that pneumatic device. And like I said, this is the process of moving all the clecos over one, and then once I get that finished, I'll complete the match drilling on this piece. So I'm going to let this video finish out right here, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and if you can, do me a favor, click that like button. It'll get me a little more exposure for others to stumble upon, and hopefully at least have some entertainment as they watch me stumble through this process. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.